Nurse Casey Hickox, who was the nurse that was originally quarantined in New Jersey and is now quarantined in Maine, has decided to defy the quarantine. She decided to go out for a bike ride, and she did so. And
she's outside the quarantine, everybody panic!
Right. Some people are panicking, including Bill O'Reilly. But before we get to him, let me give you the details of the story. According to the Associated Press, the nurse and her boyfriend stepped out of their home Thursday morning and rode away on bicycles. That sounds romantic. Followed by state police who were monitoring her movements and public interactions. Police couldn't detain her without a court order signed by a judge. And she also released a statement to the press before she defied the quarantine in this way. She said, "I'm not willing to stand here and let my civil rights be violated when it's not science-based." Get it, girl.
So, I'm a human being. Mm-hmm. I'm not impervious to panic, right? Mm-hmm. So I was just in New York, and of course there was a recent case of Ebola in New York. Mm-hmm. Now, did it stop me from going to New York? No. Did it stop me from doing anything in New York? No, right? Every once in a while would I think like, wait, what meatball shop did he eat in? Right? Maybe, right? So she's right. You can't spread Ebola if you don't have symptoms.
Right.
And she clearly does not have symptoms. She agrees that you should check in on a regular basis to make sure you don't have symptoms. That is based on science, right? But she's saying if I don't have symptoms, I know for a fact that I can't spread it. So you shouldn't take away my civil liberties. Mm-hmm. And people make a good point that here is the best people on earth who went to Africa to help people who were dying, risk their own life to do so.
And now we're punishing them.
And then when they come back, we say now you're kind of in a prison for 21 days, even though you're not showing symptoms, and we know you're not, right?
Yeah.
Now the flip side of that is she's also, got to understand that there is a panic there. I mean, but she does understand that, and I guess she's trying to defeat that panic, right?
Yeah.
But so my point is that if she's riding her bike, I say, okay, I get it, and God bless you. Am I going to go near the bike?
You don't have to go near the bike.
Right?
In fact, the only physical interaction she had was with reporters that were asking to shake her hand. So I think that that's interesting. But look, I did a complete switch from what I was saying on Friday when we originally covered the mandatory quarantine. At first, I was like, I don't know, the quarantine actually sounds like a good idea. Do we really want these like nurses and doctors out there when they've been to West Africa? But look, the one thing you need to know is it's not contagious if they're not symptomatic. She's not symptomatic. She's not going to spread Ebola. The second that she feels any type of symptom, that is when she alerts authorities the way the doctor in New York did, and then she's quarantined. I don't know. I'm just not that worried about it.
I hear you, and overall, I come out against the quarantine. But I would ask people to be far, far more cautious when they come back for 21 days, right? So now, in this case, she was pretty cautious. She just went for a bike ride. Mm-hmm. Nothing's going to happen on a bike ride, and she doesn't have symptoms. But I don't go to a local restaurant, okay? Because what if you're about to get the fever, and then you sneeze, and like, it's not airborne, but if I sneeze and the liquid gets on you, then you can get Ebola, right?
What I want to know is, does her boyfriend live with her?
That's exactly what I was getting at. So he does live with her. Don't have sex with him. I mean, just be 21 days, let's hold off. Let's just be cool for a second, right?
I think that's a fair thing to ask.
Yeah, I mean, I would. So if I'm a bad guy, then I'm a bad guy. But if somebody treated somebody with Ebola, would I have sex with them in the next 21 days? No way.
Okay.
No way.
21 days, that's like an interesting number. I don't know the science behind that, but it's 21 days. Okay, so you seem to be very fair when it comes to this quarantine issue, okay? You don't have any definitive answers. But
that's true.
Bill O'Reilly does have definitive answers.
Oh, good. Thank God.
And here's what he has to say about Nurse Casey Hickox.
The administration still does not have a coherent Ebola policy. There's no travel ban from West Africa, and there's no mandatory quarantine. 33-year-old nurse Casey Hickox is defying a state of Maine quarantine because she can.
I truly believe that this policy is not scientifically nor constitutionally just. And so I am not going to sit around and be bullied by politicians and forced to stay in my home when I am not a risk to the American public.
Well, that may be true, but it's not her call. Ms. Hickox working in West Africa with Ebola patients, and if public health authorities in the USA deem a 21-day quarantine period necessary, so be it. Ms. Hickox should be taken into custody, but she will not be, because the feds have no Ebola policy at all.
O'Reilly views it as, I don't give a damn that you were helping people. I'm not really generally in favor of helping people anyway. All I care about is me, 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 me.
Right.
So if I gotta, put people in jail who are, by all accounts, the most decent people on earth, well, no problem.